Hi. So it's been a little over a few weeks now since patch 1.19 went live, and I figured that now that I've had some time to play the patch, adjust to the new axe, try out the new features and changes, that it'd be an appropriate time to drop a video about how I feel about this patch, because I know you supportive audience members have been long waiting to hear my thoughts and opinions on this patch, so here it is. It's good. Man, I'm so funny. I cued my outro preemptively like a funny man. I'm also gonna cut away my voice for that comedic effect as well. So patch 1.19 was good for the most part. While it wasn't quite particularly a scarce double upload level of game content that I think most people were expecting, I personally appreciate what was added and changed within this patch, ignoring the game-breaking bugs that temporarily came bundled with the game when it initially went live. So how about those axes? Are the axes any better now? Well, sorta kinda. Instead of giving the unconstructive community opinion of these axes are still broken, I hope the game dies, and I hope everyone working at Scavenger Studios dies as well, I'm going to tell you about the great and the not so great about the axes we were given this patch. The great is that directional axes have made a return. Accompanying this return are some neat player animations as well as some more prominent axe trails to improve the overall coherence of axe fighting. This change has made axe battles suck less penis than before, even for West Coast players like me who typically get 120 ping on East servers. Which, by the way, I've recently been getting 80 to 95 ping as of late. I'm not entirely sure if this has to do with them improving the servers, or if they rented out servers that's a few miles closer to where I am, but the improvement is not going unappreciated. I know that directional axes are a big deal, but I want to talk about those axe trails. I don't think people appreciate them as much as I do because I've always seeked some sort of visual consistency with axes where I can properly identify the melee range, because up until now, the melee range was just this nonsensical range which I had a vague understanding of, but now it's like, hey, here's where your axe went, and here's where your opponent's axe went. And on top of that, the trails are multicolor. After you upgrade your axe at least once, your trail changes from white to either red, green, or yellow, which signifies what axe upgrade your opponent is using, which is wonderful because it wasn't nice having an axe battle with somebody and suddenly have half of your health bar removed and then it was like, okay, wow. Just as a little side note, arrows have trails now as well, so it's possible to figure out which arrow your opponent is running, and as a double side note, the tip of the arrow is now blinked to give players a visual cue that your opponent has the ability to shoot you and they're ready to shoot you beyond that arrow blink. So yeah, good stuff. Alright, cool, so directional axes have made it so melee fights can be carried out on elevated surfaces and axe trails are underappreciated by its community, but what's the not so good about the axes we have right now? The timings. That's it really. In patch 1.18, the axe had a very lenient and somewhat arbitrary parry window, and the axe had a very brief wind-up delay before it would actually start hitting anything. Patch 1.19 axes is currently, you press the button, your axe is instantly registered as swinging, and the parry window is really strict now. Don't get me wrong, I actually like this instant swing axe because it makes axes feel really responsive, but when it feels like your axe swing and parry window lasts a fraction of a second, trying to parry that arrow from that one dickhead who only presses S and only holds bow, it's like trying to have intercourse with an anime girl, which is impossible because your waifu doesn't exist and anime isn't real. The devs are taking our axes into the right direction. I sort of like the concept of the parrying window being tighter because it sort of makes parrying an arrow a lot more skill based, but if that window to parry an arrow becomes too little, it becomes more luck based than its intended purpose of being skill based. So lengthen that parry window, please and thank you. If I had to make a guess where most of the development time went for this update, it's gonna have to be for this mode right here. Creating an AI that has some decent logic is not something that takes a week's time to do. These things, they take time. While some people feel like scavengers wasted their time making this mode, those people only really think in 2 dimensions, because the whole purpose of this mode is to break the ridiculous point of entry this game has had for a long time, and up until now, the only type of environment rookie players had to practice in was participating in an unofficial top 100 tourney almost every game. While I feel this mode was delivered to the community a bit too late, it's going to be a good mode to have anyways because it'll actually give rookie players an opportunity to learn and get better at this game, instead of wanting to uninstall Darwin after their only experiences have consisted of being folded by the same silver skin, sweating bullets, trying his absolute hardest to kill him every match. There was a few other important changes that happened that a lot of people seem to gloss over, like the fact the tick rate of the servers got increased from 32 to 59, which is a big fucking deal, and it actually clears up why a lot of bullshit things would happen before this patch came out. So let me brief you over what the heck a tick rate is. It's the amount of times the server will update in a given second. The higher the tick rate the server has, the lower the chance the server might make a mistake interpreting what's going on in game. To put the 32 tick rate into perspective, majority of multiplayer games like CSGO or Overwatch have a server tick rate greater than 60, so 32 is a really low tick rate to have for a game that heavily relies on precision and accuracy. So if you've ever felt like you've been consistently fucked over by an axe swing not registering, then I present to you the problem that is somewhat been fixed. What else got changed? Right, the stamina system, that sorta got reworked. So the devs made it so you kind of have to give a shit when you're in combat situations to manage your stamina, as holding your bow and swinging your axe now come at a slight cost of your stamina bar, which surprisingly isn't as intrusive as it sounds, because the big change here is that it costs very little stamina to sprint around now. So during the downtime when no carnage is happening and you're just looting or trying to escape a forbidden zone, you don't have to constantly manage your stamina anymore outside of combat situations, which is nice. There was some other small yet significant changes that I feel that I should mention to you, but I don't feel like they're worth writing paragraphs about, so let's go through them real quick. You can no longer use the female character model to gain an advantage by displacing your head hitbox anymore. The director gained a neat little power that turns an entire tile into a dangerous lava hazard for a brief period of time. You can now choose who your duos partner will be in private lobbies instead of it being randomly assigned. This actually allows for duos tournaments to be possible now, but be in mind that a bug currently exists where one of the winners of the lobby will inexplicably have one of their scores missing from the scoreboard. The side roll axe attack no longer has a hitbox range the size of an entire goddamn tile anymore. Footsteps are very prominent and can be heard with ease from greater distances now. The game's optimization has been improved for both PC and console, but this change is something that should be felt more by console players than PC players, assuming you're not playing this game on integrated graphics, and in which case you might see a small improvement to your FPS. The addition of some more art style breaking cosmetics, and that's about it. While it would have been nice to receive some more content and bug fixes this update, like the arena electronics still being allowed in the game, can't believe they haven't fixed that bug yet, I think this patch was decent. If you came into this patch expecting everything to suddenly be infallibly perfect, then you were setting yourself up for disappointment. Patch 1.19 seemed mostly geared towards making this game more easily understandable and making the core mechanics of the game more consistent and readable, which is something that Darwin Project has lacked for some time now. While we didn't get much in terms of content, such as a new tile or electronic power, this patch we got has laid out a great foundation for future updates to be built upon. I can predict that patch 1.20 will certainly be a more content-focused patch where Scav regains some lost ground, as well as refining that axe a bit more. And hopefully in a few more patches, we'll get that commercial launch as well as that big content drop that Simon had previously talked about in their last developer blog that will hopefully make Darwin Project great again. Hey, before I end this video, I know one of you scavenger employees are probably watching this video, so there's a few things we need. We need a new roadmap so we know what the heck's going on this year. Maybe give us one of those videos where Simon, talks about some stuff. And maybe think about advertising the game soon, because it's getting pretty challenging to make videos on the same 10 people.